Okay, so once you get your downloadable Hokusai Learning Sketchbook for Artist Studies downloaded from the Stand Store, you want to go to apocrino.com. That's APOKRINO.com. COM. Okay, once you've done that, you can download. This is the iPad version. You can add to home screen. I'm not going to actually press that now because I've already got it installed. You can do this on Android devices. You can do it on desktop. In the desktop, it will be in the address bar with a little arrow into your computer, and you can on any Android or OS X iOS device or any laptop. I don't have Linux currently set up. Okay, so you open the sketchbook, but open it up the sketchbook app that you've downloaded, and you're going to want to go to the library. The book automatically opens is the daily sketchbook. So here's the beginning of the suite. You open sketchbook. You have to go to the library. It's set up so that it automatically loads to whatever you had open last. So I've downloaded the Hokusai studies. I'm going to show you again how to do that. So you go in, you hit import, and you've put it. It's in your downloads. You pick the file, and you import it. I'm not going to do that because it's going to mess up my iPad. All right, so here's the beginning of this book. Hokusai Studies on Reading the Mark. Now, Hokusai was a printmaker, but the way that he worked in his sketchbook was extraordinary, and the Mishner book really does a fantastic job of opening up the mind of Hokusai to anyone who wants to read it. That's where it was my first major exposure to Hokusai's sketchbook process. It's not the only resource, but it's definitely the most comprehensive. Phenomenal stuff. All right, so we're also learning something called sketchbook thinking, and as time goes through, you'll understand what I mean by that. It's actually a way of thinking. So sketchbook wisdom, got the usual caveats and so on. Talks about the way that a brush works, and it also talks about stroke strategy. It's a 6-week course. You can do it in 6 days if you want to. But the thing to understand here is that this is an interactive sketchbook. So here are the things that we're working on. Observation of life. Hokusai was amazing at capturing everyday life, sense of place. He captured Edo Japan in a way that is absolutely compelling. And in this sketchbook, what I've done is I've broken down the lessons into the brush strokes, line, in the elements of art and principal design, dynamic compositions, you'll see what that means, and then dynamic mark making and texture and pattern. So we'll break it down in each of these pieces. But now, if I'm going to do my daily observation, say I want to sit for 5 minutes, this is an interactive sketchbook. So I'm going to go to the top bar. The third icon is the Apocrino logo. That is the toggle between editor and viewer. Viewer is sort of like a Kindle, an ebook reader, and this is where you can add pages, run the optical scanning recognition. I can move this page. It's supposed to generate to the next page. I have to fix that. But at the moment, what you can do is you can just drag and drop. Well, it's not functioning right now. I'll argue with that later. Again, this is a minimum viable prototype. Most everything works, but not everything works flawlessly. So use the Apocrino support. I can fix things pretty quickly. But you take these instructions to do a 5-minute observation. Here we go. And you go to that fresh, new sketchbook page, and you can begin to draw. So let's go to the editor mode. I'm going to select the traditional ink brush. This gives you the simulation of pretty decent digital simulation of a Japanese sumi brush. And I'm going to draw, there's a pineapple actually, on my kitchen table here. So I'm gonna work on what is the quality of my line. I don't care if I get it right. I'm just getting warmed up, doing a quick 5-minute drawing. Now, for the purpose of this tutorial, I don't think it's worth anybody's time for me to do an actual 5-minute drawing and make you watch it. But this gives you the idea of how it works. So I'm able to do this. If I mess up, hit the undo button. Pretty standard stuff. Layer editor system, I can add a layer. So now I'm going to add a layer, and I'm going to put that below the pineapple. And I'm going to go back to my brush tools. I'm going to add the soft airbrush, and I'm going to go to the color palette, and I'm going to pick an orangey yellow. All right, so that's opacity is too low, and the size, I want to get a nice sort of general color. Okay, now this is sort of a fresh pineapple. So now I'm going to switch to green for the leaves, but also change the size, bring it down quite a bit. You can see there the white dot shows you how large it is. All right, I'm actually going to create a new layer, and I'm going to put that in between. I want layer 3 too. I'm moving layer 2 below layer 3 so that the new layer, I want the green, whoops, undo. All right, I messed up. I'm actually just going to, because I'm in the middle of a tutorial, I'm just going to delete that layer, move layer 1 down. I'm going to test to see which layer we're looking at. That's the main color layer. I want that layer below. I want to be on this layer. All right, so now, and this is just like any kind of other graphic interface manipulation program, GIMP. You're used to Procreate and Photoshop and those options. All right, so now I'm just doing raw color composition. Again, told you I wasn't going to make you watch too much drawing, but I want you to see how this works. But we're removing line, doing just a straight color composition, and making our pineapple. Okay, so now you can see, go back to the viewer mode, and now you have a page that actually just shows your pineapple drawing. So this is how you use the editor. Obviously, I need to go back and figure out what the deal is with why the pineapple page didn't generate in the right spot. Oh, now it is going to. It's actually doing what it was supposed to. Not sure why, but it had a little bit of trouble with that. But it's working again. Okay. Let's move this page to the correct place. Anyway, once you get used to it, it makes a lot more intuitive sense. But this is an interactive sketchbook. It's literally printable. That part does work. You can export as a PDF and print out a physical sketchbook. So this becomes a living artifact. It grows as much as you want it to, and you can create digitally and print physically. Anyway, enjoy the product, and again, support um, at applecrino.com. And thank you so much for checking out my product. I'll give you a tour of the rest of the app suite at a later time with the meme card system and the mind maps. But for now, if you're just using the Hokusai Learning app or one of the coloring books, uh, you're going to mainly use number one, Make, the sketchbook app. Thanks so much.